stimmt wieder. Voilà. So also for those who are going to watch us afterwards, a warm welcome to our, I think it must be the 10th or 11th AMA call with Joep de Jong on Appreciative Inquiry and Leadership. And it's wonderful to see you again, Reto. Great to have you here. Maybe you want to say a quick hello as well, and then I would love to also hear and check in with you, dear Reto.
Well, fantastic, Reto. You must be, anyways, in terms of being present, probably our most loyal fan, which is great. And I know by the reactions from some people that this recording is being listened to. So I know that one person does listen to it regularly. So hello, Ralph, in the US, and welcome to the recording. I actually hope that next time, why not join us? But we'll see that. So,
and same for Brent in the Philippines.
And Brent for the Philippines. Brent is listening to it, I know, as well. So Brent, welcome to you as well. So as they say, there is often more than meets the eye, whereby it's fantastic that you're here, Reto.
And it's a privilege to be here.
Wonderful.
I'm just actually coming from, and I'm going to dance thereafter.
Very good, very good. So am I, by the way. At 9 o'clock here in European evening time, I'll go to my tango class.
I'll be a little bit earlier. At 7:15, I should leave here. So,
all right,
yeah.
good, okay. Very good. And I know from Clarissa, who just tagged me in one of their posts, right at that moment, they are dancing at Imagination. Yeah. They will do that every Tuesday now. So if more dance is wished for, from 6 to 6:15, Clarissa is doing with Naveen 3 songs and dancing.
Yeah. I saw it going by. It's just started,
Wonderful. Dear Reto, did you bring a question on Appreciative Inquiry, on leadership, on the wall?
Actually, I'm still struggling, kind of turning addiction, the theme of addiction, into an approach of how to approach it in an appreciative way.
I saw a note, by the way. Yeah.
Excuse me?
I saw a note that I would send you some information. Did I do that? I didn't. Because I know we talked about this, and I saw the note, and I thought, did I do that or not?
I didn't see it yet, actually.
Okay, but then I have not done it.
It could well be that I couldn't see it. But if you could send it to me
again,
that would be lovely.
I will do that.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
So continue, because you were speaking.
Well, actually, that's the the basis is, how do you turn a negative environment, a negative outcome, a negative approach into a positive one? Of course, I read the book of Torres and I forgot her name, despite the fact that
Sherry.
Let me.
Sherry Torres and
Cooper had Whitney, and who was the third writer of the second edition of the handbook? We all know her, and she's very close. And I forgot her name.
Amanda Truston Blue?
No.
No. Jackie Stavros, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jackie.
But it did help her.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I I have something that's popping up. I'm wondering whether you have to Joep and who's then going first.
Ladies in my world always go first.
So I do have some bits and pieces still in mind of what you shared last time about that question with regards to addiction and helping people kind of take a different stance to that and move beyond that, possibly out of that. What comes to mind right now, because I recently was in contact with someone who's very deeply into integral theory. So this is not per se kind of appreciative inquiry, kind of the principles related, but I think you can still kind of take from it an appreciative stance, and I think whatever helps, whatever helps one step forward. So one of the things that, are you familiar with the integral theory or spiral dynamics? Yeah, you are. So you probably kind of have in mind that we are moving in our individual consciousness, and as a collective consciousness, we are moving through different stages of or levels of consciousness, right? And the first, I think, at least the very first one, if not the first two or three, are usually even largely pre-verbal. So you're addressing whatever issues arise, and some of them are about addiction, actually. You're addressing with different means than just purely words. You address them with mimicking the other. You address them by helping them connect with their body and maybe stimulating certain points by tapping or kind of certain acupressure points, or even one of the things that I learned was kind of how you kind of put one hand over the other, or connect two hands with one another, or kind of lay your feet and the ankles of the feet in a certain way that just calms the nervous system, right? And what comes to mind about when you say, like, how do we move out of seeing this purely as destructive, and also as something that we might learn from or take an appreciative stance towards, is one of the things that this person, her name is actually Caroline Winning, it's quite a remarkable coach herself, you might want to look her up. She says, like, when we get older, even though we move through these stages, obviously, through our lives, we sometimes fall back because of certain setbacks in our lives, traumatic experiences, or because we cannot move into the next layer before we have caught up with whatever we have been missing because of something else that happened in our childhood earlier. So, and by that, we actually allow not only ourselves, if we move through that crisis again, if we kind of move through, example, I made the default thing of kind of going to an addiction in order to kind of cope with life. If we approach this addiction as a way of a call back to heal something that didn't go well in our childhood, or didn't go optimal, let's put it that way, ideal, blah blah. We not only have the chance to heal ourselves or the person who is in trouble, but we actually also heal something collectively, because the individual plays into the collective and the collective plays into the individual, right? So what I'm sharing that because what for me, the essence out of that remark from Caroline Winning is even in that kind of, when something becomes so obvious as in the form of an addiction, it's a finger pointer towards something and a potential, both in the individual life and in our society, to move us, to heal something and to move us forward. So how might it be a way forward to kind of look at that individual person or that group of people who are addicted to whatever, could be work, could be alcohol, could be other drugs, whatever, in a way that they can share something about our society and about their lives which is integral part of finding the right medicine. And that they are basically, even though it's a very painful way, they are an unmissable part of the puzzle piece of how we as humanity move forward by, for example, giving them the love that was not there, giving them the bodily calmness that they need in order to not have to default to a substance, etc. So they become our teachers in a way of what they in their lives, but also we as a society can have more of in order to prevent having to use drugs. So you go to a place where you ask, all right, you're using drugs because they do what for you? What do they give you? And what would be something that we could give you, or what you could give yourself, or we could explore together, that you don't have to use these substances anymore that have a benefit for you, but you have also other means to satisfy that need. And what do you teach us then about the needs that we all probably have and that we need to tend to more in our society? Does it make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a little bit into Ken Wilber and the book, for instance, on meditation. He wrote is a fabulous one, and he also was talking about addiction. But I'm glad that you expanded this in a way which I liked. I'm actually still thought of maybe that there is a more straightforward appreciative inquiry approach, to really reach what to be able to address the whole. What I experienced actually with the small circle of people I was dealing with this, and the colleague who is actually in charge of doing some work in this respect, it was, well, no, we three created a realm of love, so that he could share things he never shared so far, and in this respect could deal with it in a different way, as he was allowed to share his addiction to whatever. And this was a fabulous experience we the other day had as a consequence of our last call, and I'm thankful for what we shared last time, and still I'm trying to find straighter ways, and but I'm glad that what you said.
So maybe you has an idea.
Yeah, I guess to me, Reto, and I guess this is building also on what Vera said, building on what we shared last time, and what I hear you say now is creating this space. I mean, this is, to me, accepting that what is the key of of appreciation. And saying that it's something is bad or not bad. I mean, Vera and I went to a day a workshop, half a day, Daniela Brown, and some of the brilliant artists we have had signs of trauma, neurosis, psychosis, and we're still capable of, maybe because of that, to produce wonderful art, whether it's Van Gogh or Dali or others. So to me, the word appreciation does not mean that you have to like it, but it is embracing everything that's there. From what I say, a loving perspective. And then if this is causing either you or the other challenges and difficulties, then starting to, from the place of acceptance, to move together. Because it is, I mean, saying that it is wrong and that it is whatever is very seldom helpful. I mean, we talked last time also about, and this is why I love the metaphor of the dance. It's reaching out. It's accepting, in being accepted because of trust, and then the connection and the embrace is coming, and only then you can start to move. So what you said, when we create a space of love where you can hold each other, is fantastic, and sometimes that's all that's needed. And as said, sometimes it is also accepting the addiction of the other. And indeed, whether it's smoking or alcohol, which are socially still fairly accepted, or then this I always find interesting when you come to the Netherlands. Soft drugs are legalized and it's okay. In other countries, it's totally unaccepted. I mean, it's also very interesting for me to see what is an addiction in certain communities and what is not an addiction in certain communities. I mean, I know places where alcohol is sort of consumed like it is water, and basically nobody thinks it's a problem, and then I think it's a problem, but it's me who think that. But so, but I guess the secret and the most straightforward answer that I guess I hear you give, Reto, and I know that we talked last time as well, is to learn to accept, which in my way, when you take appreciative inquiry, is lovingly hold the other, really, with everything that's there. And then, of course, sometimes being very excited if they stop drinking, if you can help them to access what is causing this. So what might be the trauma? I mean, traumas we can sometimes address and resolve. As said, if it is a psychosis or things like that, then it might be very difficult to do that from an appreciative perspective of stance. But still, you can help taking this and holding this appreciative space, but just learning to say that the other is a beautiful human being as well, and something happened that caused this person to take a stance towards others or to the world or to nature that I think was not the original intention of creation.
It's unconditional love.
To me, it is unconditional love, which is sometimes very difficult. I mean, let's face it, but I think that is what it is.
No, I think
that is what it is.
Yeah. I think, Reto, you might be frozen there for a moment.
I can't hear you anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here you are back.
And then here you are again. Now you're back again, I think.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah, but so Reto, I think you're right. So it is trying to hold this space of indeed unconditional love. And which to me again is, like I said, it's which is very difficult, but it's a place of no judgment. It's a place of no judgment. And there may be questions, and it may be sometimes very challenging if somebody is unhappy. But still,
And I think maybe to add on that, it's kind of the unconditional love, both of the person who is in pain, abusing drugs, but it's also the unconditional love towards yourself, because then it becomes a full circle, who wants to help but maybe feels helpless in that moment, and that's okay as well. You know, we very often have that feeling that, or I see myself also, if I see people suffering, then I suffer myself in seeing them. And I want to fix it, maybe, because it's so painful also for me to see it and to feel so helpless. And to also in that moment, maybe just for that hour that we're spending together, to hold me in my helplessness that I can't help you, but also hold you. That's where what you just called, and you just called also, Reto, the unconditional love is really, because then only then you're open to kind of navigate into something which is both without judgment and without a preconceived direction.
Yeah.
Because there might be a vision for we're all thriving, but what that means specifically for that person might be very different from what I think we might want to go for a way. And that's not easy. At least for me, it's not easy to do that also.
Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes even not easy with small kids. And yet there it's easier than with an adult, I believe.
Well, here is, Reto, I think with small children, and I don't know whether you know, then touching about addictions with young children. I don't know if that is what you refer to.
No, I'm talking about unconditional love.
Yeah, exactly. So and that is, I mean, this is a lighter version than I would say. The lighter version being that we are so programmed to think, and then we feel about it as well. Something about a certain situation, what is appropriate and how you should live that. So, and this happens all the time. So I got word this afternoon that my boat is going to go out of water on the 6th, and it may take a little more than a week to get everything done. So, and it's very interesting to see the different reactions of people who I shared that with already. Some of them, I guess, a little bit like me, showing full acceptance and say, "Oh, you'll find a place to stay." To other people who say, that's totally unacceptable, that people are taking away your home for a week, and it's very, so this is what we think is appropriate and what one should have and not have, and then I guess creates different notions of what is right and wrong, whereby the fact is that Monday morning at 11 o'clock, the boat is going to be hoisted out of the water, and probably, most likely, 7 days later, it's going to be lowered back into the water. Those are basically the facts. And you could say the other fact is, well, if I then want to stay somewhere, I will have to take action because in itself, but it's just so all what we think and feel is then constructed. That was I was trying to say, that you need a place to stay, and a home is very important, which I tend to agree. But something will be provided for. I don't know what yet, but we'll see. And I guess when you talk about unconditional love for children, that's how I got to here. Is the challenge there is so often that we have our preconceived conditions on what is right and wrong. You should not run in the house. You should not yell in the house. You should not scream. And when an adult says no, you should listen. You should sit at the table for the food. Try to manage a spoon and a fork and a knife if they're old enough, which are all constructs. And one of the favorite stories that I haven't told for a while is that we developed there as well. I mean, I remember that's what I tell people. I said, you change yourself with regards to the child because of their age. So when a child of like 6 months, or I don't know exactly, it's too long ago that I had children, but 6 months or a year, and they start to get a spoon, which they can hardly hold, and then they take the recording stuff, recording in progress. That's sad. This was probably a piece that should not be there. I was the chief editor decided that it needed to be cut out. No, I'm kidding. Just like with it. So it is right. This is I hear what you say, which is, I mean, when something of this unconditional is going, we always come with a reaction that is rooted in our own history, in our own upbringing. So I agree with you that it's very difficult, even with children. But I think that you're off to such a lucky start if at least parents or grandparents or whoever tries to go with that, because that to me is real appreciation.
And I would like to kind of go back to the earlier thing, like what you said about so much easier maybe to love unconditionally children. And now you say sometimes it's with children, it's challenging, like when they do stuff that is against the norms that we have been creating ourselves or have been raised with, or the constructs and whatnot. And might it be that both children and people who really challenge us, for example, because they are addicted, give us the opportunity to deconstruct together with them and reconstruct something that is much more appropriate for the situation and our well-being.
Love you for that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
And then we can, if we maybe take that into consideration when we are looking at a person who is struggling for whatever reason, drug abuse, blah, blah, it might be easier to become that lovingly curious or appreciative, inquiring person that we want to be.
Yeah.
because we start learning something from them as well. They are actually giving us something. They're not just the recipients of the appreciative inquiry intervention, but we kind of meet them on eye level because they're teaching us something about the constructs that we are carrying.
Yeah, true. Very true. Very true. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How is that landing with you there? And what maybe further question arises out of that, if any?
Oh, I'm glad we dealt with this subject again, and all you both said gives me a feeling of relaxation and love. Yeah, and I go into some of the books which are on my shelf and reread what I already know, and especially what you said with regard to deconstruction and reconstruction. Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for bringing that question.
And the challenge there is, Vera, I love too what you said there. I guess the challenge is to learn to do that, because this is not well, it's theory as well, but you really have to do it. This is where I guess where we start to live and be appreciative inquiry, if that is the state you want it to be, but at least you start to practice it, you start to do it. Which is, when it comes to this deconstructing and reconstructing and in hopefully a place and space of unconditional love, that takes practice. You need to do it.
Yeah, and coming from Emily and her mother, and we shared some things, and I really need to go back to her, because she was talking about the conflict. My daughter was talking about the conflict with her mother-in-law, actually. So and this could help what we just discussed. And
it's go Reto, go.
And I'm angry that I didn't recall it and could handle it immediately now. But I'm, in addition to that, I forgive myself.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, you're right, Reto, because this is a very, I mean, you started by saying, or the question implied also, isn't there an easy, kind of a quick solution, which there is not. This is a lot of self-work, in that way of saying it, and it takes a lot of practice, and and it's also learning to understand that unconditional love is not the same as liking everything. That's different. But then what is the difference? Where is the boundary? Where does my own social constructed reality kick in? And I sometimes need to sit down and talk about, what does trust mean to me, and have I learned anything in that respect? So I think Vera said this earlier, it starts where it starts. It also includes and involves unconditional love for oneself, which is pretty tough.
At times.
At times, yeah.
And you know what? One thing that I just thought I'm going to give into, I mean, what a high standard you already met with life. He's pushing that challenge into your life. So what kind of stairs you might have, you must have already climbed to now meet this challenge at that level. So it can't be easy, because otherwise,
right. I would have taken the hurdle already. Huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. True. I have another question actually. I mean, the privilege to be the three of us is enormous. Really, and in addition to that, I think, hey, I would love to have this circle expanded because what you share is so valuable to the world. And I just question how can we expand the circle so that we are not just the three of us, but the 300 of us.
Well, as said at the beginning, so let's dive into that in a second. But let's be real in a sense that at least some other people are listening to the recordings. Now I do know that. So when we talk about Brent, it's in Asia. When I talk about Ralph, it's in the US. So from an appreciative stance, you could say we have a global reach. But it would certainly be good or be nice if other people would join us. And I actually have no clue on. Well, of course, I have clues. You could start to approach people individually and blah blah blah, and say, "Come." You could actually have you could actually pay people if they show up, and all these good things. Certainly, we would increase the numbers then, but I have no other idea. It's just being there, and it's also okay. With me, it's also okay.
And from a kind of, I can tell you from the traditional, and we earlier just Joep and I had an interesting conversation about the traditional way of doing stuff, let's maximize it. And maybe a more life trusting approach, and probably it's always finding a balance between optimizing, scaling, and also just letting go and letting be. And of course, I could kind of share daily on LinkedIn. We're having this AMA call, and I could kind of more often, because the last newsletter that I wrote is probably like months ago, so I could share it more often in my newsletter and whatnot. And maybe I'm going to do some of that stuff, but I'll do it probably when it feels like the intention and the energy that we are having here right now in this round is there, because otherwise I'm pushing for something or pulling for something which is more fear than love infused, or more mechanical than organic, And and maybe, like in a quarter of a year, half a year, I feel like, yeah, let's push it, and I'm going to call you, Reto, can you push it with me on LinkedIn? And I'm going to say, you share it like every day, but right now it doesn't feel like this is the right way to go.
Okay.
And do you have any suggestions, Reto? Because you raised that.
I mean, I was talking already of two people who would love to join us, but they are not fluent enough in English. And I thought of why not talking about this on next Thursday at 9 with the Appreciative Inquiry community. And do you allow me to say a word on this?
Of course.
You go. I'll be there, and I'd be happy to hear you talk about this.
Okay. And I'm going to do that. And then, of course, to you and with what we discussed, I said, hey, maybe that there are in my closer environment, I'm thinking of my daughter, for instance, someone who could really profit from being with us. Of course, it's a time issue, but I'm going to talk to her. For instance, people I think of who are fluent and who could join. Yeah.
Let her know that she's most welcome.
Yeah.
She's most welcome. We would love to have her with us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think of other people who are fluent and while we are here, actually, I'm sorry to deviate a little bit, but with regard to the saloon, I missed the call you had with the various peoples. I couldn't attend because of time reasons, and there's no need to deal with this right now, but I would love to actually know a little bit more about that, despite the fact that I'm already busy at this weekend, but I could reschedule it. And the theme itself, running a business, is, I should be a little bit younger, I think. I just ended my activities as a how do you call this? As a chairman of a foundation last Monday. So,
Reto, I know the answer, but how old are you?
I turned 75 in March.
Okay, so and you know how old I am?
Younger.
I am younger. I'll turn 71 this year. So it's a all I'm trying to say, I think it's beautiful you say that, but it's a construct. It's a and of course it's a construct, it's a construct effect. And we're not going to deconstruct it, but we are as young as we believe we are. And I think, it would be great, even if you're no longer a chairman of the foundation. I quit some of these roles. I'm no longer a CEO. But it's great to see how other people might inspire us and how we, by the way, and I sincerely believe that, how we might help them to slow down by asking questions on, you think you're on your way to understand what unconditional love is? And if not, why not? And see how people with a passion for what they do and working with the notion of what role money plays in their lives and how they might, talking about addictions, change that addiction, which it is to a lot of people. I think it would be fantastic if you would be there. So I guess I love you unconditionally. And I don't accept these excuses of age and stuff like that.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
I would also like to share, actually this call was yesterday and we're going to have another hour call. It's Ask Us Anything, by the way, on the 13th of May. And so 13th of May, I'm going to put it here. Come on, 13th of May at 20:30 Central European Time, and this is the This is the link to register if
2030.
you want to join. But let me share, like it feels, even though that person who was asking it, very similar to the question or to a concern that you just mentioned yourself. So we have a team member who is the mother of 2 young children, and her husband kind of said, like, I have the feeling I should come, but you know what? I feel that I need to put that forward, and then I need resonance from you or some kind of reaction of whether this is good or not. Because I would feel like how I'm often in this field of Peter Koenig for Ilona, that's the team member. I'm like then in the supporting role. So I would come with the 2 children and basically be there of support. And our reaction, or specifically my reaction, was like, it's wonderful if you come as a support, and it's wonderful if you also take, and it's wonderful if you're also giving, and it's wonderful if you're inspiring. The more often we can change these hats, or in how you just shared it, kind of shift from one construct that might have been valuable in one context, but is not helping us in that very situation that we are in, into another one, which is nourishing for yourself and for the other participants who are there, the better. Because this is what I think, what is this whole event about? It's about turning the tide, doing business in a way that honors life, and by that, in a way, helping us co-create and kind of nourish the movement of a different way how we can be in our businesses, in our lives, that is more life affirming. And whoever feels called to be there, whichever age, it doesn't matter, because it's about basically tuning into a more life-giving way of either doing business or pushing something, a movement that is grandchild proof, that creates a grandchild proof future. And then age is just a side aspect.
Yes, Reto, you and I are part of the chain, part of the shekel. So particularly, I was waiting for Vera to say this grandchild proof future. We still play a very active role in that. But well, you just remember the stories you shared about Emily, and so, and I guess you decide what is best. But I would love you to be there. So there is a lot of self-interest here. I will not deny that.
Okay, I'm gonna quickly make a copy of what you just wrote to me. I'm gonna look into it.
Yeah, this is just basically this is just the sign up form, so you won't kind of see a lot apart from a sign up form for this hour call. So this call at the 13th of May to basically tackle any questions that you might have, or concerns, or notions, or needing to get a feeling or whatnot. This is a place in order to already get a taste of what the salon will be about, and answer any questions you might have.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And glad that I could address it.
Yeah, I'm very grateful that you addressed it.
Yeah, so am I, Reto. So am I. So am I.
Any other more questions? Or is that maybe our natural place to gracefully and generously in time check out? And both is okay.
Well, the question would be, you have a solution for the 7 days, I assume.
No, not yet. I will have to see what assistance I have to give, and then I have no solution yet for the 7 days. But I think you're hinting that I might come down.
For instance.
What are the
Or
7 days? I'm sorry. Maybe
that the
that
boat
was
is
when
out of the water and I have no place to stay.
okay.
Yeah.
I have no place to stay. So I will, when it gets out of the water, they would want me to be there because I'll have to get a decide on what really needs to do and at what level they want things to do. And then the one other thing they want me to do is that they will I don't know, I will call it clean and polish the hull, but they do this in a way there's usually a lot of chemicals involved, and they have there is a company that created a solution. It's called Renskip. I think it's a Danish or Norwegian company that has a 100% environmental neutral, and you always have to check whether, but it's said to be a lot better than the traditional chemical polishing stuff, and I want to do the upper surface of the boat as well, but I want to do that myself, so I can take my time, and they said you will need we'll teach you how to do that. I've been attending a short intro session, but they said we're really going to teach you how you can do this yourself, and I need to attend that because otherwise, he said, I'll have to charge you. By now, I've learned that having a boat is like not the cheapest way of living. On the other hand, it has certainly its advantages, and but then I'm still I'm still looking for a place to stay. I'll have to look at my agenda, because I know there is, for example, calls with regards to the salon. But I have no idea yet, and
This would be from the 6th to the
yeah, that's the longest they said, and maybe from the 6th to the 10th. Because he said if everything goes well, we can. I made a note of that. If everything goes well, they might be able to put it in the water in the morning of somewhere on the 10th again. So it's so that's the unknown schedule.
Okay, so my home is open for you.
Thank you, Reto. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, and I may take you on that. So when I know a little bit more about what's happening with the boat, I will let you know. I will let you know then anyway.
Good.
What's going to happen.
Lovely.
All right. That was a wonderful last question with a surprising outcome. Yeah. So this is maybe just take 3 deep breaths before you find your answer, or the answer finds you, and then share with us the little gem from this last hour. One gold nugget or one gem.
There are a lot of gold nuggets actually, but I shoot for accepting what is and have a loving perspective.
You want to go first, Joep, or shall I?
You can go first, Vera.
All right. For me, it's the magic of persistence on kind of being with one question for long enough until an answer or a next step unfolds. Just like you've been kind of sitting obviously with this question of how to deal with that addiction, and now just find one step further in a challenge that's just beautiful.
Um, there's, I once was given a picture, a painting, a big painting. And telling that whole story is now, that would take too long, but on the painting, and it's there is a quote from a book, the book Jonathan Livingston Seagull by Richard Bach. And it said, it still says, I still have the painting. And you will learn to fly higher and higher, and one day learn more what love is. And to me, that's what this call brought. And it's a flying, we're learning together, and it leaves me very hopeful in the sense that I think I've seen more love, which is one of the building blocks of trying to live this unconditional stance of unconditional love.
Wonderful. Thank you, gentlemen, for this wonderful hour.
Thank you, lady.
Lots of love and learning about life. And I do look forward to maybe see you on the 13th for the Ask Us Anything, dear Reto, and hopefully maybe even in Amsterdam. And you'll find out whether this is the right thing for you to do. Take good care. See you at the next time.
Happy dancing, Reto.
Happy dancing. That's right.
Yeah, to you as well.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.